and stuff like that, right? Okay, so now we're going to talk about, we ended with types of credit cards, so we're going to talk about some of the features that credit cards have in general, okay? In general, features the credit cards have. All right, 1 minute, I'm doing attendance really quick. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you everybody for being on time. All right, so first thing, and we've mentioned it before, is credit limit. Okay, credit limit is decided based on credit worthiness. Credit worthiness. Okay. I'll kind of talk about this before. Poor credit history equals lower limit good credit history equals higher limit, right? That makes sense, right? Now, with that credit limit though, the first credit limit you get on a credit card is usually low. Okay, especially when it's your first card. They're going to keep you low because they want to see how you do with a little bit. Okay. But those credit limits are not like etched in stone and it's forever. Okay. They can be adjusted up or down during the time you have the credit card, depending on how you are doing with your credit history. So even after they give you the credit card, they are watching your credit report and they're seeing, are you reaching limits on a whole bunch of cards? Are you being on time or not on time with all of your life? Okay. If they see that you start to do a pattern of bad choices, not on time, or way close to the limit, not paying it off, if they see this trend happening, they will reduce your limit. Okay. On the flip side, if they see you're being responsible, you're being on time, you're paying things off and only keeping low balances, not too much credit balances, some is okay, but not crazy towards the limit, right? Then they will up your credit limit. So they have the ability to up and down your credit limit. Okay. They notify you by saying, hey, we've changed your credit limit. They don't notify you like, we're about to change. No, you get a note in the mail because they are required by law to mail it and have it be physical. Due to current credit history, due to multiple late payments, or due to high credit balances, we are reducing your credit limit, or then they'll say the reverse. But it's already happened by the time you get the letter. They go into the computer and change it. Done. Before you get the letter. But they do send you a letter. Okay. So that means if you show a pattern of late payments or high or close to credit limits, they will lower it. Let's say lower credit limit. If you show a pattern of paying on time, or it's actually and keeping balances low, they will raise the credit limit. Okay? So that's why even after you have the card, you still have to be on top of and diligent about making your payments on time, because just because you got the card, doesn't mean that you get to keep the card. They can do that too. Not only can they lower the credit limit, but they can take the card away. So, example, if you've got your credit card and maybe they gave you a $1,000 credit limit because it's new and you're paying on time and you're doing all the right things and your life is going good, and they raise your credit limit to $2,000 and you keep going and things are going good, and you've got another credit card now because you're on a roll, yay, right? And then you now have 2 or 3 or 4 credit cards, but now they're all starting to get towards the limit because you stop thinking about making wise choices. You make the convenient choice credit. So now you start having to pay this one late, or now they're all close to their limit. So they lower your credit limit. Okay. Now you have no credit limit. You have no way to use credit card. And what if you needed that card to handle your monthly or daily expenses? We talked about that. So then I'll answer that in a second. Then you're late again, and you're late again, and you're late again. Well, they'll actually close the account and send you a letter that says, because you are repeated late payments to us, because you still owe us too much money, we are closing your account. So you've got to be careful to stay on top of stuff. Now, when you're looking at credit cards, like I said before, you'll start low because you have no credit history. Okay. And you just do the right thing and you charge some and you pay it off. Definitely, if it's for regular expenses like gas or groceries or things like that you're using your rewards card for, so you can get the rewards, and that's not bad, you should have already budgeted for the gas for the month. You should have already budgeted for the groceries for the month. You should have already budgeted for some of this, so you have that money in your real money account, liquid account, to pay it off at the end of the month. But say there's an opportunity to get, say, a couch that normally would be $1,500 for $1,100, but you have to take advantage of it right now, and you use your credit card for that. That is fine to pay that off over a couple months, 2 or 3 months, because you needed the couch and you were probably planning for the couch, but you weren't planning for the couch, all of it right now. Does that make sense? The difference, okay? Things that you should be planning for right now, you should have the money to pay that part of the credit card off every month. Things that were special opportunities that you use the credit card for, you could pay those off over a few months. But keep in mind, the longer it takes you to pay it off, the more it really costs you because you have that interest you're paying. Okay. So that is it for credit limit. Back. Another thing they have is overdraft protection. Okay. That's another feature that some credit cards have. Some. So this is a not all cards have this. Okay. Special cards do. The overdraft protection is when they have a card that has overdraft protection available. That is only available to customers with really good credit history. Okay. So it might be a feature on the card, but they didn't activate it for you because your credit history is not established yet, or your credit history was only okay, not great. Okay. So they can have it out there as a feature, but only activate it if you reach a certain level. Okay. Overdraft protection allows you to temporarily go over the credit limit to charge for goods or services and not be denied. So, you have a credit limit. So say your credit card has $1,000 credit limit. You charge $200 already. You only had $800 left. You go and, like I said, we'll do the couch as an example. There's that $1,400 couch you can get for $1,000. Well, you don't really technically have enough space on your credit card for that. But if you're one of these special, lovely few that have this awesome credit history, when the store goes to swipe the card, even though it's over the credit limit, it'll still go through. The average person, when they go to swipe the card, they'll go, oh, it was denied. And then you have to remember, oh, I really only had $800. Okay. So that's what we mean by that overdraft. That because you have proven to them you're really, really trustworthy, they'll let you go a little bit past temporarily. They'll then send you a message that says, you've gone over, hurry, quick, fix it. Okay. And they give you a few days to make a payment to bring the credit down or that kind of thing. But that's for the super duper people. Those with good credit history must, it's called opt-in. That means that they have to choose to activate the overdraft protection feature when it gets offered to them. So you could have, start out and you don't have it. You get yourself to a level where they say you're worthy to have it. They then send you notice, this is an available option. Do you want it? And give you a deadline to tell them yes. Okay, that's what the opt-in is. Okay. Here is your tidbit for the day, the capital letter statement. It is best not to opt in because, oops, spelling. This could create the situation where you make poor choices about purchases. So, yeah, it's a feature, but it's one of those features that's a dangerous feature. So, unless you know for yourself you're really, really good at budgeting, you're really, really good at managing your money, it's really best not to activate it. Because then if you don't have enough limit, they deny it, you stop and think and go, oh, okay, it's okay, I don't really need that anyway, and you wait. But having it activated gives you too much ability to say, oh, what the heck, I'll get it anyway. Do you understand what I'm saying? Why is it not working? Oh, I know. All right, does that make sense? So even though it is a feature, you do not have to activate that feature. And I recommend never activating that feature. And that's a personal choice, but that's from lots and lots of experience with it, okay? Okay, another thing that credit cards have is what's called an annual fee. This is a fee to be allowed to use the card that they charge you each year and can be between spelling today. Can be between $20 per year and $70 per year. Okay. So that's additional on top of the interest you pay them. You pay them this membership fee if you think about it. Okay. Sometimes if you have good credit, the company will, oops, I can't spell, company will waive, which means not charge you. Okay. But again, that ultimately comes back to that thing called good credit, right? And making sure you keep that credit, safe and on time. It's not only do you have to have good credit, let me add this in here. You have to have frequent use, so it's have good credit with frequent use of the card and on time payments. Okay, so the person has good credit, they use the card wisely, so they and frequently and make their payments all on time. So then the company goes, okay, you're making us money by using the card frequently. You're proving yourself trustworthy by being on time. So yeah, we'll let you slack on that extra fee. Okay. Here's this one's capital letter statement. Read all offers carefully to try to avoid paying an annual fee. Okay, so there are plenty of credit cards out there that don't charge an annual fee. So don't just take like the first offer that they give you. Make sure you're reading them and make sure you're understanding them and try to avoid anyone that has that annual fee, because you're already paying them interest. You're already paying them interest. They're making money off you already. The annual fee is like an extra money off you, and that's ridiculous. Okay. Kind of touched on this a little bit. You guys heard me say it. There are cards that have incentives to use the card. Most of the time we call those rewards. Okay. Sometimes those rewards can be, they can be cash back, bonuses, air miles. In other words, you charge on your credit card and you earn points to buy airplane tickets to go places. Air miles. Donations to your favorite charity. Okay. Or the ability to save points towards gifts, gift cards. Okay. Could be any kind of those. And I know you've probably heard the commercials on TV about 2% cash back on all your purchases and this kind of stuff. Or don't just get stuck with a flat percent. Go ahead and you get 5% for groceries and 2% for this and 3% for that. Okay. That's meant to encourage people to use the card more so they can make more money. Okay. Our moment. Our capital letters for this one. Be careful to not overcharge just because there are rewards. Okay? Don't let the rewards trick you into spending when you shouldn't. Okay? That's what that is. Don't let the rewards trick you into spending when you shouldn't. Okay. Let me see. Because a lot of people do get into that problem though, if you're not careful. Okay, then there are prestige cards. Prestige cards are like platinum cards or gold cards. That earn higher rewards or benefits. Okay. These kinds of cards are usually only offered to those with really, we know this, you know what I'm going to say, good credit history, right? notorious for this is American Express. They are big time about these prestige cards. They have the American Express blue card. If you see somebody with an American Express that's like a royal blue sapphire card, that thing has like a $30,000 credit limit, and they earn like 5% on everything. But these are people that are making more money than they know what to do with. Okay, it's crazy. I have actually seen somebody who had one of those that had $150,000 credit limit on it. That's how much some people's homes cost. It's way more than a car. They went and bought a car for cash on it, basically, because it was cheaper credit percent interest than the car dealership was gonna give them. So they went and bought a Mercedes on it. It's like, why? I kind of would feel really uncomfortable if I had that. I don't know. Okay, another thing. We've talked about this a little bit. Grace limit, grace periods. Okay, grace periods are the time period between when they close the statement month, and I put statement month on there, not close the month, because you might have a credit card that closes on the 15th of the month and is due the next 15th. You could have a credit card that closes on the 8th and is due the next 8th. So it's not like a start and end of the month like normal. Okay. So it's the time between when they close the statement month and your payment is due. There's a time frame. Usually this is, let me double check, 21 days from close of month. Okay. So like say your statement closed on the 15th, they would not expect the payment for 21 days, which puts you actually into the beginning of the next month before your payment is due. Okay. This creates a short-term free line of credit. What I mean by that, remember what we talked about, that you only pay interest on the stuff you have carry over from one month to the next. Okay, so if you go ahead and you charge on the credit card, right, but you pay everything you charged on the credit card off at the end of the month, you actually owe them no interest. So that's what it means. It creates a short-term free line of credit. So if you work it out, there are certain things that you can make sure you do so that you're paying them as little or no credit interest as you can. Okay. Oops. Oh, can't spell. Cash advances. Okay. Cash advances allow the cardholder to get cash from an ATM or at a bank. Okay. Downside, there is a extra fee or interest rate or both for these types of transactions. Okay. So some companies just charge a fee, some just charge an interest rate difference, some charge both. Okay, so you got to be careful. There is no grace period on these types of transactions. So that means that you they start charging you the interest on those the very moment they happen. The very moment they happen, the interest starts counting. Transactions, plural. Okay. Capital letter moment. Be super careful to use this feature only in major emergency situations. And make sure to pay it off as quickly as you can, even if the month hasn't closed yet. So you can make payments on your cards throughout the month. You don't have to wait for the statement to be able to make a payment. So you're out on the road, your car breaks down. The mechanic is a little mom and pop mechanic, so he doesn't take credit cards. You go to the bank and you get cash off of your credit card and you go pay the mechanic. So when you get home, maybe you have an emergency fund that we've talked about having an emergency fund, and you withdraw the money from the emergency fund and immediately pay the credit card off by paying an online payment to the credit card during the middle of the month. Okay, that's the stuff I'm talking about. Don't wait until the statement comes. Don't wait, because remember, the interest starts charging right away. Okay. So think about those star moments. Financing or interest charges. Oops, not capitals. Okay. Now, most credit cards charge 18% to 28% interest rate. Annual interest rate. Let's put that word in there. Okay, that means over the whole year, your purchase will get charged between 18% and 28%, depending on which card you pick. Watch for ones that are lower. A lot of them are higher. 26.6 is not unusual. If you're lucky to get something down in the 22% level, it's pretty good. The 18%ers, those are the big deal people. You know, the higher, the not so good your credit limit, the higher it's going to go. I actually have seen one that was 31.2. But that is, you know, this is the general range. Okay. And annual means that 28% of the purchase for the whole year. So if you had $100 that you had put on the credit card and you let it sit there for the whole year, you would be paying $28 extra above the $100. But that's if you let it sit there for the whole year. okay? So that's why when we were doing some of the credit card ones earlier, how you took the interest rate and you divided it by 12, so you could figure out how much it was really for the month. Okay. Obviously, if late payments too often, they will raise the percentage and could go up to in the 30% range. Okay. We had talked about this before when we talked about the cars, but you also have to watch out for this here. Oops, sorry. This is my capital moment. Once we get it. Watch out for teaser rates. Remember we talked about those? That only last for 3 to 6 months. My cat. And then expire. What? Stop it. She's carrying around her toy and she has to meow when she carries her toy. And expire and jump up to the real interest rate. I have seen offers where 0% interest for the next 6 months. And they fail to say, and then it will be a 26.2% interest rate from then on. Okay, so when you're reading offers, watch out for those teaser rates. Be reading things carefully. I know it's horrible, and you're looking at these credit card offers and going, I don't get half of them. If you don't understand it, it's better to tear it up and not pick it. Does that make sense? If you don't understand what the offer is offering you, then it's better to not take that offer because you could get yourself into a really big pickle if you're not careful. Okay. So here's, I want to put some more, but they're over here. So here's some big thoughts on credit cards and when you're looking at offers, okay? So these are capitals. When deciding on which card to get, look at all, and I'm actually going to underline this all. Oh, over there. These features. Okay, look at all of them. Stop and look and go, okay, well, what are you offering for interest? What are you offering for cashback? What are you offering for? Go down as a checklist and make sure you're looking to see what every one of these categories they are offering, okay? These features to decide, sorry, I left out a couple words. To decide which is best for you. Some features might mean more to you than others. Everybody's a personalized thing. That's why they have the different features, because not everybody's the same. So when you're going through, stop and think about which of these matter the most to me and make sure you're looking at those to see if they check the box of, yeah, that's good, but don't forget that there's other ones. If the payments are late often, why would the interest rate raise up instead? No, interest rate is how much you're paying them. They'll start charging you more money for using their card. That's what the interest rate going up is. Credit limit is the amount of money they let you borrow. That would go down. So both things could happen at the same time. They could lower the amount you have available to charge and start charging you more. Does that make sense? So interest is what you pay them extra for the privilege. That would go up. Does that make sense now? They don't trust you. You're going to pay us more money for using our card, and we're not going to let you have as much to borrow anymore. They're two different things. Okay. The other big thought thing about these, limit yourself on the number of offers offers you accept. I left out the word you. Or you could get yourself into major, and we're going to underline that guy, major I don't want to underline anymore. How can I get out of it? Financial trouble. And debt. Okay. We get it? That it's okay to have a couple, but not 10. Because you think, even if they were only giving you 1,000 each, 10 times 1,000, $10,000 that you now owe debt, that you're now paying extra money on interest. Having 1 or 2, maybe 3, that's fine. Especially if I know some people that have like 3 cards because they use 1 for their gas. And that's all they put on that card. So then they know they can keep track of their gas expenses, pay it off each month because gas is something you budget for, but they can keep track of it and they don't have to worry about having cash with them or using their debit card and stuff. They have 1 that they use only for groceries. Same thing, they pay that one off each month. And then they have 1 that they have for the general expenses. I do know that there are some companies that give multiple cards. Yes. Oftentimes 1 will be a MasterCard and 1 will be a Visa. So I do know like Capital One, you can get a Capital One Visa and a Capital One MasterCard. But again, you got to watch out getting yourself into the ditch of too many cards, makes it too easy to buy things that you should be saving for. Okay. There are 2 last things we've got to talk about, and then we're going to talk about the project. Okay. First, last thing, take off the capitals, put on the bullet. There are 2 more features that, well, 2 more types of cards that we kind of have brushed on, but haven't actually fully talked about. One is called a prepaid cash card. Okay. I'm gonna bump him down. Prepaid cash card. Those are cards that can be loaded with a specific amount of money used and then reloaded. Okay. All right. So it's a card that can have the MasterCard logo, can have the Visa logo. It has a specific amount on it. They're usually the Visa or MasterCard gift cards that you can get like at Target or at Walmart or whatever. Okay. Not quite. We're going to get to that one. That's coming. So you pay the company a certain dollar value. Okay. You pay and like I said, a lot of times, so like you're going to give somebody a birthday present, but you don't know what to buy them and you don't know what store. So you get them the universal Visa card or MasterCard that you can buy at Walmart or Target or wherever they sell gift cards at, Safeway. That $50 you give them or whatever, when that's done, they could choose to send the company more money to be able to keep using the card again. Okay. So those are the prepaid cards. Now, this guy has a star thing on him too. These are same as cash. If you lose them, the money's gone. Okay. You have to treat them like they're cash in your pocket. Lose it, it's gone. They don't keep track of it. They're not going to give you your money for it. None of that. Okay. You're purchasing it in an as-is situation, knowing that if I lose it, there goes my cash out of my pocket. Okay. All right. Those are the prepaid cash cards. This is the one you were talking about. Another one that's out there that we didn't talk about yet, that you guys have read a little bit about when we did the how to establish your credit, how to establish good credit and stuff. There was this thing called a secured credit card. Okay, secured credit card. These act like a cross between a gift card, which is the one we kind of just talked about, a gift card, and a credit card. Okay. You put money on them, but since they are linked to you, the money is protected if you lose the card. No. Okay. So you buy the card, you get the card from, and you get them from general companies. They're from banks and stuff. And you put a dollar value on it, but you've got a line of credit, sort of. It's like a glorified ATM debit card. Yes, this is the one that's kind of a glorified debit card. You are putting money on it. You spend up to that dollar value of money and have to reload it. Okay. But because it's linked to you specifically, the bank has given you this credit card, even though it's secured and you're putting money on it, like basically you're prepaying for what you're buying. It's linked to you. So if you lose the card, they then will, you'll still have that amount of money when they reissue you a new card. The credit limit is the amount you put on the card. So if you put $100 on the card, your credit limit is $100. If you put $500 on the card, it's $500. Whatever amount you deposit onto the card is the amount that is your credit limit. Okay. This is the plus. These are often used to start credit history because they show up on your credit report as a credit card, even though they're prepaid credit cards, okay? So they are often used to start credit history or reestablish credit history after you have gotten your life situation under control. Do you guys understand what that means? So maybe you had a credit history and it went downhill. So then you had to cut up all your credit cards and do without for a while to repair your credit history. That time period when you're without a real credit card, you could be using a secured credit card to start reestablishing that you are a trustworthy person again. Okay. Since they go on credit reports. So that's what I was saying about the secured credit card. It kind of acts kind of like a gift card because you're paying a dollar value on it, you're prepaying, but it's linked to you, so it counts as a credit card for your credit history. Okay? We're officially done with notes. Yay. So go ahead and turn them in. Go ahead and turn them in. Let me stop this stuff.